Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. I'm going to call this episode the fight for the $1,200 stimulus check. Now, I have done other videos on our channel where I've talked about the independent from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, essentially pushing for the $1,200 stimulus check. Also, Josh Hawley, Republican senator from Missouri, pushing for stimulus checks to be included, and they said that they would push for a vote on the floor of the Senate this week. So both of them are working hard to ensure that $1,200 stimulus checks are included. To be honest, when you look at the grand scheme of things, let's just talk money, let's just talk numbers. It's going to cost right around $300 billion to include another round of $1,200 stimulus checks. They are talking about a $1.4 trillion government funding bill. By the way, none of the lawmakers talk about the size of the government funding bill, $1.4 trillion, because they don't want people to be like, whoa, you have $1.4 trillion for government funding and you're haggling over $900 billion for stimulus, because that's going to be the reaction of people. That's why you watch my channel, because I give you the truth. But there are people other than Bernie Sanders and other than Josh Hawley who are actually pushing for the $1,200 stimulus checks. In fact, you'll see this tweet on your screen from Jeff Stein over at the Washington Post, and Jeff Stein actually reported that in internal talks, Mitt Romney from Utah. By the way, I did do another video where I highlighted some comments from Senator Mitt Romney from Utah yesterday, where he talked about why $1,200 stimulus checks were not included. But what has now come to light is that Mitt Romney floated including both stimulus checks as well as more vaccine money in the package and dropping state and local aid entirely. Keep in mind, state and local aid is what the Democrats want. The Democrats want state and local aid. So what Mitt Romney floated was including both $1,200 stimulus checks and more vaccine money in the package, which, by the way, already includes unemployment benefits, and dropping not only the state and local aid, but this is the big one. You guys ready for this? Also dropping the liability shield, dropping both of them so that $1,200 stimulus checks, more money for vaccine distribution, and get this, unemployment benefits would be included. But guess what? Unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, and the idea was quickly rebuffed by the group. Now, when I say rebuffed by the group, the bipartisan group of senators who essentially have, the focus, the push came from the Problem Solvers Caucus. They said, nope, no way, no how. So that is where things stand. Also, by the time you watch this video, the all-important 4 p.m. East Coast time meeting today between the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and joining by phone, the U.S. Secretary Steve Mnuchin. By the time you watch this, that meeting will already have taken place, and I will give you a breakdown of that meeting. But in some very, very important comments today in a press conference, Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, I'll show you two important segments with him. The first segment is where he said, we need to pass stimulus to help the country until we eradicate the virus, and he talked about how impressive the achievement of getting a vaccine in such a quick order was. And then he goes on to say something extremely important, extremely crucial. Hopefully you'll catch it. I'll be sure to highlight it to you. But first, let's take a look at the first segment, and then I'll show you the really important announcement, the hint that he gave us about the $1,200 stimulus check towards the end of this video. So please make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. First, let's take a look at this segment from Chuck Schumer, where he talks about the need to pass stimulus to help the country and about the vaccine. And he talks about his own attitude towards the vaccine. Let's roll the tape and see what Chuck Schumer had to say.
But it's coming to an end with some good news, very good news. Over the past 8 to 9 months, scientists, biochemists, and researchers rushed to produce a safe and effective vaccine to the COVID-19 pandemic, and they've succeeded in an amazing, extraordinary way. We don't have just one, but several candidates for a vaccine, each of which has shown to be 90% effective in clinical trials. Yesterday, America crossed 2 milestones. The first, a grim one. 300,000 Americans' lives lost due to COVID. The second, a crowning scientific achievement of the 21st century. The first COVID vaccines administered from one end of the country to the other. It was an amazing sight to see the first American inoculated against the disease, a nurse at Northwell Hospital in Queens, in my home state of New York. Actually, Northwell is on the Queens-Nassau County border. I don't know which part of it she was in. It was an amazing sight to see the first American inoculated against the disease. And over the next year, we will see this replicated hundreds of millions of times as Americans get vaccinated. Public figures at all levels should be building confidence in a vaccine and fight disinformation of those who undermine it. At the moment, the vaccine is being distributed to medical personnel, doctors, nurses, frontlines workers, and the most vulnerable populations. And as I said yesterday, I will take the vaccine as soon as it is appropriate and recommended. I will not skip the line. So, the COVID vaccine is light at the end of the tunnel. It's getting brighter every day. We have a long way to go, but we can't think that the crisis is over. We need to pass COVID relief to help our fellow Americans get by until we eradicate this virus. We need to fully fund not only production of the vaccine, but its distribution as well. The states badly need that money, and we need to get it done for every American. Senator Casey.
And in the second segment, I believe Schumer said something very important. He essentially was being very coy about his position towards a few things like state and local and stimulus checks. And he said he wouldn't talk about negotiations that would happen in the room during this super important meeting that has already taken place today by the time you watch this video. But he said, and this is very important, he said Democrats support $1,200 stimulus checks. Could we see something dramatic? Could we see something shocking where we have both $1,200 stimulus checks, which, by the way, at this moment in time, at the time I'm recording this, does not seem likely. Could we have both $1,200 stimulus checks as well as state and local aid, as well as unemployment benefits, as well as money for vaccine distribution? Hey, this is America. Anything's possible. This is Congress. Anything's possible. And at the same time, nothing is possible. So let's see what Chuck Schumer had to say. Very important what he says. Tell me if you catch what he says, and he essentially gives us a hint about what is likely to be the Democrats pushing for the $1,200 stimulus check in the meeting that took place today. I'll let you know as soon as we get word of that meeting, but let's roll the tape and see what Chuck Schumer said and see if you can spot it. Let's watch.
And I am told he also, at his lunch with some others, urged members to just go forward, not to mess around with the Electoral College or any shenanigans. I hope very strongly that that happens. It's over. The Electoral College has said Joe Biden will be the next president. Every Republican should acknowledge that and stop the games. And those in the leadership should encourage fellow Republicans to do it. Yes.
Leader Schumer, is the $6 billion in the bipartisan proposal for vaccine distribution enough? And are you willing to set aside state and local to get the rest passed?
On the first one, I think, without talking about what will happen in that room, I think we need more for distribution. On state and local, everyone knows my position. It has broad bipartisan support, and I'm not going to get into negotiations in any way that'll occur at 4 o'clock. Yes.
Senator McConnell last week suggested setting aside liability protections and setting aside state and local, and last week you criticized that. I mean, isn't that where these talks are going?
As I said, I am not going to get into negotiations here. That'll occur at 4 o'clock. Yes.
One of your caucus members, Senator Sanders, is still pushing for the individual $1,200 stimulus checks. Is there any chance we could see that this month, or is that something down the road?
I'm not going to get into negotiations in the room, but $1,200 in additional money to go to people is something many in our caucus, including me, support.
Are you confident that there are going to be enough vaccine doses for everyone next year? And should President Biden consider the Defense Production Act, if necessary, to increase the number available?
The fact that he has Jeff Zients and Ron Klain high up in his administration gives me a lot of confidence that the Biden plan to both produce and particularly distribute the vaccine will be a lot better than Trump's plan.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I really appreciate you watching. Remember, the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. We cover matters that are important to the country, that impact the economy, that in turn impact your wallet. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, here's my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. If you have a moment, check out my video. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. And as we recover from this madness, from this horrific crisis, I want to help you live your American dream. So please make sure you click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications so you get instant updates from our channel going forward. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. If you want to get added to our SMS alerts list, our text messaging alerts list, all you have to do is simply get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time in the body of the text message, and then send that text message to 70,000. That's 70000. You will get added to our SMS alerts list, and then you can opt out of the alerts list at any time. You'll get breaking news, important information that impacts the country, important information that impacts the economy, and important information that affects your money. We'll also release information about any important programs we might release, which are going to be very, very limited if and when we release them, because it's a time commitment for me. So I'll let you know if that happens. Also, you can get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts. You'll get added to our email list. You can opt out of the emails at any point in time that you want. No worries about that. No concerns. You can opt out of the email list or the SMS list at any point in time that you want. Speaking of notifications, sometimes, not always, YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. What they do is sometimes there's a delay with the notifications. It happens. So all you have to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you can visit the homepage of our channel through your browser anytime you want, and you're not dependent on notifications from YouTube. So you might find that valuable. Speaking of valuable, follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You'll get exclusive content specifically as an Instagram follow. You can also follow us on Twitter. Simply follow us on Twitter at ignition_time, the same handle as Instagram. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter about all things that are important to the country, the economy, and money. So make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. Again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. The one thing I encourage you to do is comment below. Our community is very respectful, it's bipartisan, it's highly intelligent, and it's growing very quickly. So I think you'll make some new friends in our community. So please make sure you participate in our community. A healthy debate is always welcome. We can agree to disagree. I believe that's what makes us great as a country and as a people. So make sure you comment below. Also, share this video with friends and family. I need your help. I really need your help to grow our community, and I would greatly appreciate that. Finally, all I ask you to do is please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. That tells the YouTube algorithm that you found the content helpful. That really helps us out at the channel. We work very hard behind the scenes to put together all of this content, to organize the content, and to present it to you in a fair and balanced manner. I want you to remember, for us at the Ignition Time channel, it's not about the red or the blue. It's simply about the red, white, and blue. It's not about being a Democrat or a Republican. It's about being an American first. We are all Americans first. And that is what makes the Ignition Time channel unique. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching. Always remember, you'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. So make sure you check out the description section to get links to our resources. I really appreciate you watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.